Hello and welcome to another episode of Blue Alpine TV. In today's episode, we will talk about Stellar Lumens and their new roadmap. We'll talk about the biggest hack in crypto exchange history, and we'll talk about a new competitor to Coinbase and the exchanges. First, let's have a look at the markets. Well, as we know, today the CME futures settled. However, what we kind of expected was that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies would shut back up, but they didn't really. Au contraire, they kind of dropped down a little bit. It seems like the market is still a bit unsure, and I still believe that the prices between around 8 and 9,000 at the downside and between up to 15,000 at the higher side are still the range that Bitcoin will play these days. As soon as one of those lines is getting crossed, I think we'll either enter a proper bear market if it goes down, or a proper bull market if it crosses the 15K line. But for now, I think it's still a bit unsure. However, I think as long as you invest into the fundamentals of the coins, you should be golden in a couple of months, in a couple of years, and down the road. One of the winners actually of the market today is Stellar Lumens. Their price has increased from around 50 cents up to 62 cents. One of the reasons was that they successfully launched a Mobius ICO on their platform. So Stellar Lumens can actually be an ICO platform. They raised around 39 million US dollars. And one of the other reasons, besides the Stripe announcement that they won't support Bitcoin anymore and will maybe switch to Stellar in the future, was actually the roadmap. So the roadmap from Stellar came out yesterday, and if you've read our report on Stellar Lumens, you know that the roadmap was actually quite old. So it was around 2 years old, and it hadn't been really updated. So everyone was really expecting this new roadmap to come. They released it yesterday, and they have actually announced two big goals that they want to follow. One is the SDEX, which is the Stellar Decentralized Exchange. They want to create a kind of a decentralized exchange platform similar to 0x and other competitors. One of their specific niceties, as they call it, day one trading for any Stellar ICO token. So that means stuff like Mobius will be tradable there. Atomic pathfinding to discover the cheapest rates between any two assets. Very low trading fees, as it is one of Stellar's main components, and end user control of secret keys. So the whole thing about decentralized exchanges is really interesting, because we see, and we will see it in the third news story, that centralized exchanges and traditional exchanges are quite, I want to say, can be error prone, can be risky to keep your assets there. There's also a risk of shutting exchanges down. Let's say if a government or a company decides to, if regulations get introduced in certain countries and all of these things. So there is always a risk that a centralized exchange can be shut down in any way. And considering that we as traders are quite reliant on the exchanges, the idea of a decentralized exchange makes a lot of sense. However, a decentralized exchange sounds great in theory, but is actually really difficult to do in practical terms, mainly because you, on one side, you have a liquidity problem, then you have a speed and transfer problem, so exchanges need to be really fast. And just a simple example, I think Binance or Coinbase was adding at one point 250,000 accounts per day. And we don't know yet whether the decentralized exchange is actually capable of handling this kind of traffic. So in the last, let's say, bull run of Bitcoin and the altcoin run, a lot of people tried to sign up for different exchanges. I know a lot of people and some friends who are still not verified by the exchanges. So decentralized exchanges are definitely the future, but we will have to wait and see and understand in which way they can actually perform, whether they will perform in a good way or bad way. I think there will still be some small issues and bugs along the way, but it definitely will be the future. So we're definitely excited to see what Stellar will come up with. And the second thing is the Lightning Network on Stellar. So the Lightning Network has been in the news all around. So a lot of people are talking that the Lightning Network will come to Bitcoin and make Bitcoin actually much faster and cheaper. Here they say Lightning will have a huge positive effect on Stellar's long-term scalability and security. We've been aware of Lightning's potential for Stellar for a while, and we've recently collaborated with Stellar advisor and Bitcoin core developer Jeremy Rubin to optimize our implementation. Expect a detailed technical post on this soon. So this is definitely something we are interested in reading and understanding, like how Stellar will implement the Lightning Network. As you know, Stellar's base or core used to be the same and similar code to Ripple, with the difference that Stellar is entirely decentralized and Ripple is quite centralized. That being said, the implementation of the Lightning Network in Stellar will definitely be interesting. So we will update our analysis on Stellar Lumens pretty soon with this new roadmap, and we'll also mention some details there. So if you're not signed up yet to Blue Alpine Research Yearly, you definitely should, because we'll update our reports as we go. Next up, we have quite an important and unfortunately bad news. Coincheck confirms crypto hack loss larger than Mt. Gox. So Coincheck is a Japanese crypto exchange, and they have suffered a hacking attack, and it seems like it was one of the biggest in the history. So depending on the exact numbers and tokens that we're taking, it looks like here it says, according to Bloomberg, which attended the conference, 500 million NEM tokens were taken from Coincheck's digital wallets. So as NEM was falling quite heavily, so we're looking at 12 to 13% here, we can see that that the drop down, well, the hack was kind of causing the drop here. The data suggests that figure is now at least over $400 million US, factoring for a decline in the value of XEM, the NEM protocol's token, following the incident. The details are not exactly clear yet. Notably, the dollar amount stolen from Coincheck is likely greater than the amount stolen from Mt. Gox. So Mt. Gox was one of the first Bitcoin exchanges in 2014. It was actually created by the same guy who created Stellar and co-created Ripple. But before creating Ripple and Stellar, he created Mt. Gox and sold it to Mark Karpeles, and he then continued with the site. The site then got hacked, and a lot of Bitcoins got lost in the process. So we are not really sure like how much of an impact this will have on the entire market. It wasn't as much as expected. In general, what we always recommend to people, and you can watch one of the beginner videos that we've just uploaded this week, is never keep a lot of cryptocurrency on an exchange. It is just a security risk you're not willing to take. As we've discussed in the last couple of days, if the entire industry goes towards that we as an individual or we as organizations become our own banks, we have to treat it with a certain amount of respect and security it deserves, meaning we have to take security measures where they are necessary, and one of those measures is definitely not to keep the money on the exchanges. Obviously, if you're more of a trader than an investor, sometimes it makes sense to have a little money there, but definitely the majority of your coins, of your tokens, of your money should not be kept on an exchange. You should use something like a ledger wallet. And if you don't know how to use that, please check out one of our previous videos. So we'll definitely keep an eye on the news, what exactly happened there, and we'll update you guys here as well. Now, the next story here, Robinhood. Robinhood was or is a stock trading application that is letting people trade, that does let people trade stocks for free. So no commissions at all. It is a startup out of Silicon Valley. It has been funded quite well. So we're looking at 176 million US dollars of investment they've gotten from big VCs like Index Ventures, NEA, and Andreessen Horowitz. So it's definitely a big fish. So they're going towards the markets that are like the big exchanges they are trying to get. And obviously, and one of the clear next steps for them was to enter cryptocurrencies. So what they will offer starting in February and March, and there's a huge waiting list right now, is to trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, and 14 other altcoins, including Ripple and Litecoin, for free. So you will be able to buy and sell cryptocurrencies on this app for free without commissions. How exactly it will work out and whether the performance will be possible, we don't know yet. We will definitely try it out as soon as we have access to the application. I do know that Robinhood was limited to people from the US, so we're here in Europe, we weren't actually able to trade any stocks using Robinhood. However, I also know that Robinhood had a premium subscription where you can pay between $6 and $200 a month. And depending on your package, you're allowed to trade more money and move more money and borrow even money. So Robinhood has a really interesting business model because right now they're operating at break even. So they are not looking to make a profit unlike Coinbase, because Coinbase has actually made $1 billion US in revenue in 2017. Which is the majority obviously coming from this huge bull trends in cryptocurrencies. So it will be interesting to see how much of market share Robinhood will actually steal from Coinbase. What we really like about Coinbase, especially for beginners, is that it's quite easy, and I believe it is one of the exchanges with the easiest user experience. And Robinhood looks quite the same in that regard. So it will be interesting to see whether Robinhood will succeed in stealing some of Coinbase's customers, and obviously for trading without fees, it looks like a really interesting offer. So we will definitely keep an eye on this and keep you posted. We will probably in the future do a video on all of the exchanges that we use to trade the coins that we have written reports on, and depending on that, you can make like your own image. Because there are quite a few exchanges and some are easier to use than others. So we will definitely either write an article about this or make a video. And with that, we're already at the end of today's episode. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. It really helps to spread the message. Check out bluealpineresearch.com if you really want to dive into some of the coins we've written reports on. If you're thinking more with a fundamental approach, with a long-term investment horizon, if you believe that this blockchain revolution will become bigger and you want to really make financially good gains, but as well believe in the technology, you should definitely check out our reports on Blue Alpine Research. And with that, I'll see you tomorrow.